Thanks everyone for joining us for today's special episode of The Capitalist Investor. I'm Mark Tepper, joined by Derek Gabrielsen.
Mark, how are we today?
Dude, I have been better, man. The world is, it's pretty ugly.
It really is.
I think I saw somebody recently post something on, maybe it was Facebook, about the SpaceX astronauts. Mm-hmm. Like, what a good decision they made to leave Earth that day. Right? I mean,
perfect timing.
Timing could not have been better, man. It is just, it's sickening. It's disgusting. And that's why we're dropping this special episode. I think there are things that we need to rant about.
Yeah, for sure.
God forbid I say something about it on social media, I get attacked.
Oh, you will get relentlessly attacked.
It's unbelievable.
If you don't say the exact message that has been approved.
So I figured, rather than me shooting off a line here and there and then just getting reprimanded and smacked across the face, via social media, I figured we would rant for 30 minutes or so in this special podcast, and no trolls would actually listen to it. Just cool people would listen to this. Yeah,
exactly.
Right? So I think this gives us the perfect platform for us to be able to talk about the way we feel without us getting completely whacked here. So, obviously, D, the big thing that's going on is, there were supposedly or supposed to be these peaceful protests over the course of the last week or so. Which, while they may have started off peaceful, they quickly escalated, right? And we're in full-blown riot mode, and, it's my take on this is protests are fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a protest.
No, absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's First Amendment stuff. You should be allowed to voice your opinion, to voice your displeasure if things aren't the way you believe they should be, but do it peacefully. And peaceful does not mean not being violent. Peaceful means not vandalizing someone else's property.
Yeah.
You can't do that stuff.
Maybe I can backtrack for a second. There's obviously a lot of messed up things going on in this country, and they've been going on for a very long time.
No doubt.
And it is sad to see that that is coming to a head like this when there are just so many different forces at play right now.
Yeah.
Other than the main focus of what should be being discussed right now is inequality, right?
Yeah.
It's a big problem. I can see why people are mad. I can see why people are protesting. There's a lot of horrible things that are going on that have been covered up by all different types of people. All right. So, it's not just one group of people that have been doing these things systematically for the last 30 years plus, obviously a lot longer than that. But to take it out on good people, I know right before we just hopped on here, just all of the struggling businesses that have been affected here locally in Cleveland. Yeah. It's truly heartbreaking to see that. I've been seeing
these people didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Dude. Like, honestly, in fact, they've been punished. Their businesses have been shut down. They're on the ropes, dude. They're on the ropes. They're reeling. They're on the ropes. All they wanted to do was open back up and try to get their lives back. That's it.
Yep.
And you screwed them over. You came down and you blasted their windows out. You robbed them. I mean, come on, man. It's insane. These are not the people you should be targeting.
No.
What did they do?
They did absolutely nothing. And the timing could not have been worse, man. It just couldn't. And, we've seen these, like, the one that really broke my heart is Colossal Cupcakes. So if you guys are listening, love your cupcakes.
Delicious.
Used to go there all the time back when the Cavs were good.
And any of you who are listening who have not gotten them, let's support these guys. Let's
yeah,
go
absolutely.
Get some, right? When they're open and they're making cupcakes again, because I don't know how long it's going to take for any of that rebound.
Right.
Go get some cupcakes there.
But I saw several, tweets come across my timeline on, basically being heartbroken and basically acknowledging that this was the last straw for them, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to come back now.
Wow. That's terrible.
and just a number of businesses on East 4th. And, you know, I live downtown. You know, Mark visited me back during the day.
Yeah, we had some fun.
Yeah, a little bit of fun was had. But, I mean, there's whole sections downtown that weren't there even, you know, when I was living there 15 years ago now. And they've just been completely trashed. And, again, I just don't understand. I don't understand the people that are coming in and messing this stuff up.
No. There's absolutely no reason for it. So let's back up a little bit. I mean, let's acknowledge the fact that, you know, what happened to George Floyd was not okay. And that's unanimous, D.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no argument there at all. I don't care if you are left, right, Democrat, Republican, black, or white. Nobody thinks it was okay.
No.
Nobody thinks it was okay.
It was
so
heartbreaking.
why are we fighting each other? Nobody thinks it was okay. We all think it was wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know, and then there's multiple ways to look at this. I mean, my biggest issue with this is I do think there are issues with our legal system in the U.S. Not just law enforcement, you know, and there's bad apples in every profession. Mm-hmm. There's bad apples in wealth management doing what we do. You remember Bernie Madoff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's bad cops. There are bad physicians who are, you know, stealing the morphine and the oxycodone right out of the hospitals and popping the pills themselves, right? So there's bad people in every single industry. That doesn't make everyone in that industry bad, right?
Yep.
Our legal system, not just law enforcement, but our legal system is flawed. You know, we claim that people are innocent until proven guilty, and I beg to differ.
Yep.
I'm convinced that if you're charged with a crime, you are guilty until you prove your innocence. And if you don't believe that, then go and watch the Netflix program, The Innocence Files, and you'll see people who've been in prison for 20 years for crimes they did not commit.
Man, you're really up on these Netflix documentaries lately.
What else do I have to do, man? I mean, God. So, yeah. I mean, you know, you can only watch so much fiction, right? So I am on a little documentary kick here.
And not to go the wrong direction, but I had heard something the other day about incarceration rate per capita. And I wasn't able to find those, but in the United States, there's 2.2 million prisoners. So 2.2 million people are incarcerated. Russia is next at 874,000, and then South Africa at 158,000.
That's crazy.
So I mean, the legal system in this country is like, we might as well tear everything up and start over at this point.
Yeah.
It's just so flawed from top to bottom, and there's
from top to bottom. It's not just law enforcement. It's all the way through. There are serious problems. And we understand that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, if anyone thinks you committed a crime and you're charged with it, you're terrified walking into that courtroom.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, and I saw a meme on social media the other day, and there's different ways to look at this. You know, I think a lot of people are looking at this as, you know, white cop kills black guy. Mm-hmm. But when I saw what happened, that was not the first thing that came to my mind. It was bad cop kills innocent guy.
Right.
I mean, that's the first thing I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, people can fight with me and yell at me and tell, well, you're not black. Okay, I get that. You know, but that was my impression, and I still thought it was wrong. It was wrong. You can't do that. The cop who was arrested and charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter, Derek Chauvin, is that how you pronounce it? Do you know?
I don't know, honestly.
All right, we're going to roll with it. We're just going to call him
Sounds
Chauvin.
right.
All right. This dude had 18 prior complaints against him. 18, dude. It was going to happen. You know, unfortunately, it was going to happen to somebody.
Yeah, ticking time bomb, man.
Dude, why do you think this guy still had a job?
Because the entire system is completely messed up from top to bottom.
The entire system is messed up top to bottom, and because unions saved his job.
Yeah.
So I've never been a big fan of unions. Okay. My wife was a teacher. She was a great teacher. I saw the passion she had for teaching high school chemistry and physics. I saw how much work she put into it. Teaching kids in inner city Cleveland with PowerPoint presentations, bringing her own equipment to the school because the school was too poor to be able to provide it. She would bring all of her own stuff, and she would really do her best to teach. She got to school early. She stayed late. There were other teachers who did the bare minimum.
Right.
Who didn't really care, who didn't really try to teach. And I've always said, I think teachers should be paid according to performance. But unions prevent a lot of that from happening. Unions are there to protect the bad employees. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. And I could do 2 hours on the education system, because I think that's probably, there's so many problems, but that is, in my opinion, for our future, the number one problem in our country is what's going on with the education system. Yeah. And the union is protecting bad people and bad teachers is really the number one problem. Yeah, right. And it's, in business, right? And we talked about this from the start with being a server, cutting grass, the better you're of a server that you are, the more lawns that exactly. Yeah. Performance based. Yep. And when you get unions involved, the opposite seems to happen. It's how can I do the bare minimum and still keep my job? How can I tell my boss off? Oh, actually, it's pretty easy. I can tell my boss off and not get fired because I'm part of the union. Exactly. That doesn't work, dude. So that doesn't work anywhere else in America. No. You can't tell your boss off and not get fired. Come on, guys. This is common sense stuff. Yeah, and speaking of that, I on social media the other day, the head of the teachers unions in New York, they're pulling down $500,000 to $600,000 a year to be the head of the union. Wow. To make sure that bad teachers still get paid just as much as the good teachers, huh? Wow. My head nearly exploded when I saw that. Yeah. But man, it just. But so we're pretty far off topic now. But yeah, you're exactly right. Like, that guy should never have been on the force. He should have never been on the force. And that, it's amazing because people are going to criticize that he was still there. I'm criticizing he was still there, but I realize why he was still there. And it's because the union stuck up for the guy and they made sure he was still employed. Yep. So you can't there are so many underlying problems, and we got to peel back the onion to get to some of these problems, right? It's not what it may seem on the surface. There are underlying problems that need to be addressed. Now, I want to talk a little bit about social media because it is amazing to me. It's really unfortunate how angry and nasty people have become towards one another over the course of the last week or so. I can't say anything on social media without getting completely blindsided and MF'd and just all kinds of nasty stuff coming my way. Oh yeah. If anyone were to say riots are bad, you're immediately labeled a racist. Immediately. How does that make sense, dude? This is not logical reasoning. Let me explain logical reasoning to people, okay? If A, then B, that is not the same as if B, then A, okay? So, if I'm a Brown, I play for Cleveland. That's true. Correct. Okay, we agree? If I play for Cleveland, then I'm a Brown. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You could be an Indian. You could be a Cav, right? This is illogical reasoning, people. You can't think like that. Come on, guys. This is you learn logic in elementary school. Yeah. It's just the things people have resorted to, the name calling, the bashing. That hurts me right now more than anything. Am I allowed to post anything on Twitter? No. I'm just going to stay quiet and I'm going to crank out a podcast because I know no haters are going to listen to me for 30 minutes. Yep. Yeah, and you've really been noticing that over the last week too. I follow a number of the Cleveland sports talks personalities, and this one gentleman, Ken Carmen. I don't know if you've ever heard him before. Seems like, I've never met him. He seems like a really good guy. I enjoyed his program when he was on, basically just starting at like 7 p.m. shift or something like that. He went the day after the first looting happened in downtown Cleveland. He basically, took his broom and a shovel, and he drove downtown to start helping people clean up, right, from their businesses. And then they talked about it for a little bit on their show on Monday. And even he was getting blasted.
Yeah. Why?
The guy was just trying to help out, man. You know, and he was just saying that things are messed up and we need to get better. And, people on both sides of, I don't even know what that means anymore, but both sides were attacking him.
Yeah.
Relentlessly.
Dude, I've got a brother-in-law who's a police officer, a brother-in-law who's a firefighter, and when I saw that people were throwing objects at police officers, I made some sort of a comment like, come on, this is ruthless. It's ridiculous. I can't believe you're resorting to this. Boom, I get bashed.
Yep.
Why? Because one of my family members could be out there, like, at risk. That makes me a bad person. There was a picture of one of our fire trucks in Cleveland with a busted up windshield. Mm-hmm. I say animals. People attack me for that. Like, come on, guys. Like, this is, first of all, people are allowed to have their own opinion, and it does not have to agree with yours. And if they don't, let's just talk logically about it.
Right.
Right? I want to go into, I want to talk about this one clown that was butting heads with me over the weekend on Twitter. And I there's a lot of people that think like this guy, so we need to talk about this. But he came at me. Now, he was condoning riots. This dude was blatantly for riots. And I'm like, no, dude, riots are never okay. They're never, ever, ever okay. Peaceful protests, that's fine. Riots, not okay. And he threw some MLK quote at me. He threw an MLK quote at me. What is it? A riot is the language of the unheard. He threw that one at me. Now, I have no idea what Martin Luther King meant by that. Mm-hmm. That is one quote in the midst of what was probably a 30 to 60 minute long speech that the guy delivered. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to single out that one quote and think that Martin Luther King was condoning riots, first of all, I don't think that to be the case.
No, I mean, he definitely wasn't.
Right.
He was, his whole platform was the complete opposite.
Yeah, so there's people who they're taking that one quote and they're acting like riots are okay because Martin Luther King said it's okay.
Right.
No, he didn't. I do not believe he did. And we can fight back and forth on that all day. But, it's unbelievable that people they're taking these things out of context and trying to act as if rioting is okay. Mm-hmm. Now, they'll typically come back with some sort of a snide comment about, quote unquote, your president, right? He's not my president. They'll do something along those lines, right? Well, what about your president then? Your president. Let's assume Barack Obama is your president. What did he release on June 1st on Medium? He released his take on this situation. Mm-hmm. Did you happen to read it?
I did.
Okay. Let's kind of go through what Barack Obama had to say about this for proof that this is not a Republican versus Democrat thing. This is people who are using their brains versus people who are just trying to wreck cities and hurt people. Come on, let's get it together here. So the main takeaways. And you can find this on Medium. But the main takeaways, Barack Obama says, there is no excuse for violence. Quote, if we want our criminal justice system and American society at large to operate at a higher ethical code, then we have to model that code ourselves. End quote. Think you gotta actually do what you say you're gonna do? Mm-hmm. Right? Point number 2 I got. Some people believe that the problem of racial bias in our system proves that only protests and direct action can bring change. And that's what I heard a lot of people saying over the weekend. You don't understand. This is our only option
Right.
at this point.
Heard that a lot.
That's not your only option. And Barack Obama disagrees with you. In fact, he says he couldn't disagree more. Thought this was very well written. I mean, he hits the nail on the head. And then he says it's important to understand which level of government has the biggest impact on the criminal justice system. It is not the federal government. It is your state and local government. So stop it with the "it starts at top" crap.
Right.
I mean,
Those people just don't know. They have no clue.
They have no clue.
They don't understand how anything works.
They have no clue. But I mean, I don't know. It's just it baffles me, man.
But between this and all the COVID stuff, the state and local governments have really been exposed as just a broken system of bureaucrats.
Yeah.
That really just want to get paid for doing nothing is really what it comes down to.
Did you hear that the mayor of Minneapolis allowed the police precinct to be taken over?
Yeah.
I saw that.
I saw him run out the back door.
Oh my God, man! I don't understand. This is just it's mind blowing, man.
And maybe everyone is not the same, right? But when I know Mark's very similar to myself, when we see a problem, we want to fix it. Okay, what are the causes of the problems? What are the solutions?
Yes.
That's where I naturally go.
Yep.
Not everyone's like that. But it seems that these days you're only allowed to have one of two opinions, right?
Yeah.
It's a black and white issue. Didn't mean it that way,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's
There's no gray.
there's only two sides of things, right?
Yep.
These are complicated, complex issues that have been getting progressively worse since forever, really. And the more layers of bureaucracy that you get on top of these problems, the worse off that we get. Yeah. You know, that's really one of my main complaints about government in general, is that we don't stop and fix anything. We just add more layers of red tape and bureaucracy and things, even while maybe being good intentioned, they just seem to get worse, right? There are lots of things that have to change before the end outcome that everyone wants is going to be achieved. It's not an overnight process. Yes, you do need to change the way some people think, but this is 2020. It's not 1963. There has been progress made. We just need to come up with a structure and a system that are going to allow the American dream for everyone. Yep. Right? And that's really what we've been advocating from the start. The America and the notion of it and the American dream and being able to start from zero and make your way in life into whatever you want. That's what we want for everybody, right? Yes. We don't want anyone constricted or constrained by the system.
Right.
But you can't have it all ways, right? You can't have
it all ways, man. And that's, look, man, you mentioned we both want to identify what the problems are and then come up with a solution. What I think is important to spend a few minutes on, D, is that whatever you think is the problem is probably not the problem. There's probably another problem beyond that problem and another one beyond that problem that's beyond that problem. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, you got to peel back the onion a little bit. There are other problems. This bad cop in Minnesota, bad cop, 18 complaints against the guy. He shouldn't have had a job. This should have never happened. But the union likely went to bat for him to keep him employed. Now, do I know all the facts? No, I don't know all the facts, but generally that's how things work.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? Went to bat for him to help him to keep his job. So if you're sitting there saying this guy should have never been employed any longer, but you're also milking the system, and you're a crappy employee who's only employed because of your union, and you're using the union to keep your job, shame on you.
Right.
Shame on you. Like, come on, you can't do that. Let's get back to talking, a little bit about our local small businesses, right? Because Did you happen to watch the Facebook Live thing that was going on over the weekend? There was some idiot clown running around Facebook Living the riots. He walked up to the owners of Corbo's Italian Bakery. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that story at all?
Were those the guys guarding their stores?
Yeah, absolutely, they were.
I didn't see the video, but I saw pictures of that.
They had guns in their hand, and they said, hey, that's fine. You want to come at us? Come at me, brah.
Bring it.
So, props to those guys for defending what is theirs. It was nobody else's. That's theirs. That's their livelihood. That's their hard work, their blood, sweat, and tears that they put into that business. And they weren't going to stand for it just being robbed and ransacked. We talked about Colossal Cupcakes. You go out to New York, man, and there was a Rolex store completely cleared, like $2.5 million worth of Rolexes that are in other people's possessions right now that shouldn't have them.
Right.
Unbelievable, man. There was a Mercedes dealership where they broke into it. They spray painted the cars. They lit the cars on fire. Like, that's millions and millions of dollars of destroyed vehicles.
Right.
This is nuts, guys.
And a side note, I don't really think most people know how insurance works.
Yes, we need to talk about this.
Because I've seen that quite a bit. Oh, it doesn't matter. There's insurance.
That was the idiot doing Facebook Live.
Oh, really?
Corbos. Why don't you just let him in, man? You got insurance, don't you? Dude, first of all, man, don't you think we pay a premium for our insurance?
Yeah.
And if everyone is filing insurance claims, do you think the insurance companies are going to raise everyone's premiums?
Yep. Have you guys
Money
heard?
doesn't grow on trees, people.
Deductibles. Another
you have
thing.
a deductible. What's that? 5, 10 grand?
Easily.
Right? Yeah. All right. So you're going to come up with 5, 10 grand. All right. Let's assume you own what's a local store here? GV Artwork in Lakewood. They make sports T-shirts and stuff. 100% of their gear has been stolen. 100%. All right. So let's assume you're them, and you have these assets listed on your balance sheet at, I don't know, $300,000. Okay, so eventually the insurance company might come in. They might give you some money. You've got a serious deductible you have to cover, which who knows how you're going to be able to cover that. But then on top of it, nobody has business interruption insurance.
No.
Nobody. No business owners have that. And when somebody bashes your windows out, steals everything, ruins the inside of your store, walks out with all of your inventory and merchandise, even if you wanted to open back up, you're shut down for a month.
Easily.
And then how are you going to recreate your T-shirts? That takes some time.
How are you going to pay those employees that can't work after not working for 3 months?
Exactly. So for any of these clowns out there who are talking about, well, yeah, at least you had insurance, it doesn't work that way, people.
No.
Money doesn't grow on trees. When you destroy someone's property, you're robbing somebody else. That money doesn't grow on trees. Come on.
Not only the owners, but all the people that work there too.
Yeah, all the employees.
You're taking money directly out of their pocket.
Right. And they're bad people? I highly doubt it. They're probably really good people. Most people are good people.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know that if I went onto Twitter right now.
No, definitely not.
But most people are actually good people. They are good people. So, I mean, look, there's a lot we need to fix here with our system. We talked about, just unions protecting bad cops, right? Bad cops being bad cops in the first place. It doesn't make all cops bad. I mean, there's certainly some that are going to abuse their power. There's financial advisors that steal from their clients. There's, Mike the Situation Sorrentino, man, from Jersey Shore.
Oh, yeah.
His little tax scam.
Big Daddy Sitch.
There's bad people out there, man. There's always going to be a bad apple. It doesn't mean that everyone's bad.
The Situation turned it around, though.
He did. Yeah. He's. Have you watched any of the Jersey Shore get-togethers?
Well, I'll admit this publicly. Yes, I did. I've watched that show.
It's like a train wreck, man. You got to see how these guys are doing. He got a little fat.
Yeah, no, he went to jail and now he's all jacked up again.
Oh, he's jacked up again?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'll check that out, man. Good for him. Big Daddy Sitch getting it back together.
Yep.
No, he definitely did. He turned it around. He's done a good job. What else? What else are we missing here, or have we pretty much hit everything we need to hit?
Yeah, I think we hit all the major topics. But
we're angry. We're angry that people are angry, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be angry. I understand that what happened was not right, and we have issues that need to be fixed. And whatever you think the issue is, there's an issue deeper than that, and then there's an issue deeper than that one.
Yep.
And if you really want to think logically about how to solve this, we need to come together as a country and not. This is so divisive.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. No, I mean, no one in our government is together on anything.
No.
Yeah, there's not one person making the decisions for everything that happens in the country.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
Even if you like the president or you don't like the president, that person needs help. That's why this country was set up this way, is that so states would have power to police themselves, basically, to create their state how they wanted it to be created.
If you want just one guy in charge who has all the control, go to North Korea.
Seriously.
If that's
exactly what it is.
If that's what you're looking for, one dude who has all the power, go to North Korea and tell me how you like it. I don't think you're going to like it there.
No.
That's not the way we're set up. We are set up with multiple layers of government. Multiple layers. Corruption at the local government doesn't mean that someone in the federal government's doing a bad job.
Right.
Corruption in the federal government doesn't mean that someone in the local government's doing a bad job. There's checks and balances. There's multiple layers of government. That's I don't even know how we came up with all this stuff, but it really it's wonderful.
I think about it almost every single day, honestly.
It is wonderful that we have a legislative branch, a judiciary branch, an executive branch, like these different branches. And if you're a corrupt politician, the judicial branch is going to come get you.
Right.
Like, it's amazing that we even thought through setting up checks and balances. Mm-hmm. This is the best country to live in. Why are we doing this? This is the best country to live in. Like I said, you want the one guy on top with all the power, all the control. You can get that in North Korea. I highly doubt. Well, I know none of our listeners want that.
Yeah,
okay. But some of those nasty haters on social media, maybe that's for them. D, any last thoughts before we wrap up here?
No, I don't think so. It's not good out there right now, but be kind to each other. I know there's not tens of thousands of people listening to this, but hey, maybe if you are listening to this, be kind to each other. Be part of the problem. Don't be part of the solution.
Or be part of the solution.
Did I say that wrong?
Yeah, you definitely said it wrong.
Son of a gun. Well,
be part of the solution, not the problem. There we go. That's the right way to say it.
I haven't been doing too well with my metaphors lately on this show.
What was the rising
tide lifts all boats.
Ships, boats. Dude, so I checked this out. I bought right after that show. I went home. I hopped on Amazon. I'll wrap up with this. I bought the Book of Idioms.
Mm-hmm.
I started reading through it. I'm like, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to put that one in my brain there so that I use it once in a while. But I didn't see your rising.
You got any good ones?
No, I haven't. I have nothing good, dude. Nothing good. All right, folks, that wraps up today's special episode. As always, thanks so much for joining us. If you hated what we had to talk about today, take it easy on us on social media. Don't put us on blast. Come on.
Yeah.
If you loved what we had to say, please subscribe. D, what's the YouTube channel? Because we do these on video format as well.
Yep, Derek G SWP. You can subscribe there and get notifications as well when the new episodes drop.
Let's do it. So if you have any questions, shoot us an email, info@swpconnect.com. And as long as our world is weird and crazy, we're going to continue to pump out these special episodes. So hopefully we don't have to pump out a special episode ever again.
Yep.
That'd be ideal. But unfortunately, we'll probably be doing this sometime soon, and we'll keep you guys posted on what our thoughts are on all this tragic stuff that's happening. Talk to you next time.